What ships fought in the Battle of Copenhagen? Have you ever wondered what ships were involved in the famous Battle of Copenhagen in the year 1801? This naval engagement was a significant moment in Scandinavian history, showcasing the might of the British Royal Navy against the Danish-Norwegian fleet. Let's break down the ships that played key roles in this battle. On the British side, the fleet consisted of about 18 ships of the line. These were large, heavily armed warships built for fleet battles. Admiral Sir Hyde Parker commanded the British fleet, with Vice Admiral Horatio Nelson serving as his second-in-command. Nelson led the attack, and his flagship was the HMS Elephant. Other notable British ships included HMS Defiance and HMS Amazon. The British strategy involved Nelson's squadron sailing into the channel outside Copenhagen harbor. They aimed to engage the Danish ships that were moored along the waterfront, advancing towards the strongest Danish vessels near the fortress of Trekroner. This tactical approach was designed to break the Danish defenses and assert British naval dominance in the region. On the Danish side, the fleet was smaller, comprising about 7 or 8 ships that were ready for battle. The flagship of the Danish fleet was the Dannebroge, commanded by Captains Fisher and Braun. The Danish ships were anchored in a defensive line along the waterfront of Copenhagen, supported by floating batteries, gunboats, and armed transports. This positioning was strategically chosen to defend the entrance to the harbor and challenge the British fleet's passage through the Sound, the narrow strait between Denmark and Sweden. The Danish fleet included a mix of modern men-of-war and smaller armed craft. However, they were outnumbered and outgunned by the British ships of the line. Despite being part of a coalition with Sweden, Russia, and Prussia, only the Danish fleet actively engaged the British during the battle, as Swedish support did not materialize. In summary, the Battle of Copenhagen featured British ships of the line such as HMS Elephant, HMS Defiance, and HMS Amazon, facing off against Danish ships including the flagship Dannebroge, along with several other men-of-war, floating batteries, and gunboats. This battle was not just about ships. It was a clash of national pride and military strategy in the context of the Napoleonic Wars.